This is designer Joe, and today's project is going to feature the orange slice sprinkles and the A2 Acetate Sheets. These are some of the products from the September release. Also, my project is going to include the Nooks, Newton's Donut, and also the Cat Scrappiness Crafters Essentials 1. So to begin with, I show you how I colored the images for the card, and I'm using Copic markers. I sped up the video so that it wouldn't be so long, and I hope you guys are still able to see how I blend the colors together. I'll have the list of all the Copic marker colors that I use in a blog post, so the link will be in the description box below. So for the base of the donut, I used E31, E33, and E25. So I laid down the lightest color first, then I laid the middle color, E33, around the icing of the donut, and I wanted to kind of see where I would be putting the darker shade, the shadow in. So I used E25, and then I kind of go back between E33 and E31 to blend the edges out. I skipped the part where I colored those two little donut images to the right because I used the exact same colors as I did in the larger donut, and it's pretty much the same technique. It's just a smaller image. Next, I go ahead and color the icing on the donut, and I went with the color orange to match the orange slice sprinkles on the card, and I use YR02. I tried my best to kind of color around those white sprinkles, but I know I colored a few, but it was okay because I know I was going to color it with a darker color, so it wouldn't be too bad. And then my next color is YR04, and I wanted the lighter part of the icing to be in the middle, so that's why I did most of the dark colors on the inner part of the icing and the outer part of the icing. So the darkest color I used is R08, and then I lined where I wanted the darker color, the darker shade to be, and that's again the inner and the outer, trying to avoid those white sprinkles. Then I go between YR04 and YR02 to blend out the lines, and then I also go back with the R08 just to deepen the shading a little bit more. And then for the final step, I do use YR02, which is the lightest color, and then I just kind of blend out the whole middle part so that it's seamless. And I did go with the blender pen, the blender marker 0, just because I did kind of get the colors into the cat, and I wanted to push that out because the color of the cat was going to be pretty much white. And then here I go and do the blush. So I do R81. I do the tummy, the cheeks, and also the ears. And then I go ahead for the darker color, R85. And then I believe I go back with R83, the middle color, just to blend out the darker and the light shades together. And for the last step, for the tummy, I get the darkest color, R85, and I draw a solid line to accentuate the shadowing of the donut on the cat. So now I'm going to color the cat, and for the white shade, white color that I usually go to is B00 and B quadruple 0. I also go between that color combo and the cool grays, which range from C1 through C9. So it depends on what image I'm coloring, but I do prefer this blue tone color to imitate white. So then for the shadowing, I use BV00, and I hit the cat where I want the shadowing to be. And for the sprinkles, I use E25. I only use one color, so I didn't really record that part. and then you can see I do the shadowing on the donuts right there. So next I go into the process of the card making. So the dies that I'm using are from Cat Scrappiness, and these are the Crafter's Essentials 1. It comes with a variety of dies. These magnet sheets don't come with the set. I just use that so that it's easier for me to find the dies that I want to use. And again, it comes with a variety of dies. I'm using the circle one right now for this card, and here is a white cardstock, and I try to center the circle die mainly on the top of the card. So I use a sticky post-it flag, and then I run it through my die cutting machine, and then I adhere that removable post-it note on the back because I'm going to be doing some stamping. So now I'm going to take the sprinkles image from the stamp set, Newton's Donut. I'm using Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and then I go ahead and stamp it. I kind of know the placement of the elements of the card, so I'm stamping some sprinkles inside the circle and then some sprinkles on specific places on the card. So I have some orange cardstock that I cut to size so I can mat the white cardstock. And right now I'm adhering the circle portion of the white cardstock just because it'll be easier for me to lay that other piece of white cardstock to make sure that it's nice and straight when I seal up the shaker portion. Now I have the Cat Scrappiness acetate sheets, and these are size A2, which is 5.5 by 4.25, and I trim it so that it will cover that circle. Then I adhere it to the white cardstock with just some regular tape adhesive, and you could use liquid glue, but I chose to just use my ATG gun, and it worked out just fine. The acetate sheet held up and it did not slide around. So then next I am going to do a little bit of coloring. I use the same color E25 for the sprinkles. Really easy. I just colored the rest of the sprinkles and that's it. Now I'm going to assemble the card, and I have some craft cardstock here the size of A2, and easy way for me to make sure that that piece is lined up with the card base. I just stand up the card and I align the bottom, and that's it, and I adhere it together, and if I have any overage I'll just trim it off. Now I'm going to layer the orange cardstock on top of the craft paper, and I leave about 1/8 of an inch border around the cardstock. And now I'm going to do the shaker portion, and I have some foam adhesive tape here. It comes in a roll, but you can also use regular square foam adhesive and just trim it out, and it's pretty easy to form it to that circle. Okay, now the fun part, putting in the goodies inside the shaker portion. So I have the orange slice sprinkles, which is part of the September release for Cat Scrappiness, and I go ahead and also put some clear confetti sequins, and then also lastly I use some brown micro beads, and it's a bit messy, just kind of pour it really slow, and then I go ahead and take out the adhesive. And yeah, my finger kind of got stuck on the adhesive and it shook some of the microbeads onto the tape, but it wasn't that bad. Then I go ahead and layer the white cardstock to seal the shaker, and that is it for that part. I tried not to go heavy-handed on the sequins and sprinkles, but it's really hard, but I think I found a balance. So now I am putting the rest of the card together, and here are the images that I colored, and I fussy cut them out, And also to give it a more polished look, I get a Copic marker, which is C9, and I get the tip of the marker and I run it around the edge of the cut image, just so that it's a solid color rather than a white border you see when you look at the actual image. I used the Life is Better with Sprinkles sentiment. I stamped it on some white cardstock, and I'm just going to trim it into a fishtail banner, a small rectangle, and then I do the little triangle cut on the edge only on one side. So now I'm going to glue all the images onto the card, and I'm using a Zig two-way liquid glue. It gives me a little bit more wiggle room when I put the images down in case it's not in the right placement. So I go ahead and adhere the first donut, then I adhere the sentiment, and then I'm going to, for the cat image, I'm going to adhere it with a dimensional foam adhesive so that it pops out on the card, and then I'm going to lastly place the small donut right next to it. So for the final touch of this card, I'm going to use some of the orange slice sprinkles, and I'm going to adhere it with glossy accents. For the most part, I use glossy accents because I feel that it's a strong adhesive and it holds my sequins or sprinkles onto the card, onto the project, and it doesn't flick off. So that completes the card. I hope you guys enjoyed this video from start to finish. If you have any comments, please leave them down below. Again, this is using the September release Orange Slice Sprinkles and the A2 Acetate Sheets. Thanks for watching and hope to see you guys back here soon. Bye!